Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summer presentation of the iLeague Season 3 Chinese qualifiers. Here we've got Newbie.M versus CDEC. That's right, it's CDEC Gaming. It is going to be them going into this two-game series and looking to take some wins here. They've had a kind of rough run so far in iLeague's group stage. They haven't really built up that much momentum, and they need to get some points on the board. So this is going to be a great place to start here. Going up against Newbie.M, we're actually seeing a doubleheader for them. The next matchup is going to be them versus Braveheart, it looks like. But yeah, it should be pretty interesting. I mean, it's already kind of close in my mind between these two teams. Both of them have shown quite a bit of potential, but neither one has really just shown that they're consistent just yet. So on 6.84 is a great time to test that. Gonna have to modify a few of my volume settings here to make sure you guys can hear everything fine. Get that nice music going, etc. If you can just let me know if the volume's okay in comparison to my voice. We'll get into the game. You'll hear some more game sounds, and you'll have a pretty good way of knowing one way or another. I'll actually adjust my microphone too. There we go. Alright, just to make it nice and easy for everyone. So, looking at the draft here, we've got the Spirit Breaker, the Centaur, the Broodmother, and the Queen of Pain banned out. They did not ban the Visage initially because they have a gyrocopter, and they feel if they have a gyrocopter, they can manage it. So they first pick the gyrocopter, they let the enemy have Visage, and as long as the gyrocopter has enough attack speed, his flat cannon should be able to take care of the familiars for the most part. The problem is, if they stone form early, then you're at a flat cannon, you run out of that buff, and you're not going to have it back up for another 30 seconds, and the familiars are going to kind of start running over people. So it's all about the micromanagement from the Visage, keeping those alive. Most of the time, it's really easy in 6.84, but against gyrocopter in particular, it's a little bit difficult. But anyways, we're going to be seeing kind of a tempo lineup here. It might even be a support gyrocopter. It's either a support gyrocopter or a support Leshrac. Traditionally, obviously, we'd see Rubik and Leshrac going as a roaming duo, with the gyrocopter being the carry very clearly. This is something that you would expect from, like, IG. I mean, they would run this kind of composition pretty easily, and that would work out pretty well for them. But in this case, I think that they could also run this gyrocopter as a support, rather than Leshrac as a core. I feel like Leshrac is really powerful in a core mindset, especially up against a hero like Phantom Lancer. You get your mana pool up, you get a BKB, and suddenly all you have to do is just Pulse Nova and Lightning Storm all over his illusions, and they melt very quickly. So, I like that idea. Win the fights over time with the Leshrac and his magical damage, but in this case, it looks like it could be still up in the air as far as what we're going to be looking at here. They still ban out the Enchantress, which is interesting, because I felt that CDEC were looking for a mid laner, but if they run Leshrac as the mid laner, then they were worried about that Enchantress secondary support. So, they go ahead and take that off the table. As far as Newbie.M's lanes go, it's pretty cut and dry. You got Shadow Fiend in the mid, PL in the safe lane, Earthshaker perhaps on the off lane, but otherwise as a support alongside the Visage.
Reserve time.
So we see Phoenix ends up getting banned out here. It's not really going to be much of a surprise. It's one of those heroes that does fit well into Newbie.M's lineup, and CDEC don't really have the exact answer for it. When you're trying to focus down familiars, when you're trying to deal with two heavy damage output cores, like the SF and the PL, you really don't want to jump onto that Supernova and try to manage with that as well. In fact, attack speed slows in general really make things difficult for you, so I would have to say that that's a really good call. I mean, it just kind of fits well with what they're concerned about when it comes down to dealing with multiple targets, addressing threats with the right amount of focus fire. Phoenix would make that all the more difficult, so I think that's a really good ban.
Zeus.
Dire team pick.
But the last pick coming out from Newbie.M is actually going to be the Zeus. So as far as how they're going to run that, it looks like it should be a support along with the Visage. I mean, if you look at that, that's a lot of nuke damage. They've got some good slows, they've got a lot of nukes. Because essentially, you're going to be able to go in at level 2 or 3 and just Spirit Lance, pop the Lightning Bolt, Arc Lightning, and that's going to already be enough damage for your Soul Assumption to be at its max 3 charges. So I would have to say this is a pretty good kill combo. I'm not sure how it would do under pressure, like if there was an aggro try against it and it was forced into a 3v3, but overall it's not bad. It's great for scouting, and we'll see how it plays out. But the Storm Spirit is going to be picked up here as the last pick. So, as expected, it's just a support Leshrac, mid Storm Spirit, and then Aggressive will be taking the Gyrocopter carry to the safe lane.
Prepare for battle.
Alrighty, going into it, I'm actually really interested to see how the Zeus plays out, because he's actually going for a build that I'm quite fond of. Here, he's going for a double mango. Whether he uses this for himself or for an ally, the mangoes are going to be very powerful in this current laning configuration. The Zeus, the Visage, as well as the PL are always one spell away from a kill in many situations. They're like really intent on getting that last spell out, getting the last bit of oomph, and a lot of times you're able to survive just narrowly because they don't have mana, even though they have the cooldown and the cast range. Mango fixes that. You can always get that extra blast out, you can always throw out another Soul Assumption, another Spirit Lance, whatever you need, and that should be finding them some really good kills. So I like the double Mango build. The HP regen won't matter too much. Maybe in the jungle he'll take a few hits, but generally speaking, he's not going to be trading damage. It's all about that mana instantly coming out for his team, and them seeing what they can do with it. Interesting spot on the high ground here for CDEC, trying to make their move across the map. I'll go ahead and introduce CDEC for you guys. Looking at the side of the Dire, we've got XZ running in the off-lane Clockwork. Garder's going to be running the support Leshrac alongside Q on the Rubik, who's got boots first. Shiki is going to be running on the Null Talisman start Storm Spirit, getting the bounty rune up top. And Aggressive is going to run boots first on the Gyrocopter, taking a page out of Burning's book. Alright, and hopefully one of you guys can let me know if the sound is okay, because I'm hearing it a little loud, a little quiet sometimes, but you'll have to let me know. Anyways, we got XZ kind of putting all the creeps off to the sideline here into a little cubby hole, and he's going to bounce that out in a little bit here when he can double it up, and that's going to make it much more difficult for the last hits to come out for the Phantom Lancer, and much more difficult to control the creep equilibrium from the others. But we're going to see Zeus has to play it safe here. The alternative to running that Earthshaker in the offlane is to actually run the Zeus up in that position. So essentially, the Earthshaker can go ahead, stack up some cans for the Shadow Fiend, and support the mid. He's essentially a counter roamer here, where anytime that a gank comes through from, say, the Rubik and the Leshrac, he just throws the Fisher out, protects 8 GK, and makes sure that he has a better laning experience. So he's kind of half babysitting on the mid and half just jungling. And then he's going to be able to leech experience from the Shadow Fiend later. But this does leave the Zeus up on the top lane instead of the Earthshaker, and I just in general feel that he's a little bit more vulnerable. 295 movement speed instead of 310, as well as the fact that he is only 1 armor. It's going to be difficult for him to kind of hold position and get to level 6. That's all he really needs in this off lane position is just level 6, but they've got a nice lane ward here. Anytime he moves past that line, you're going to see it, and we're actually going to see first blood happen out here as the Fisher comes out. Really good position on that Fisher. Shadow Razes knock him down, and that's going to start him off strong this morning. Trying to cover out the bottom rune. And it's just going to go to Zeus here. Next bounty rune, no telekinesis lift onto the cliff. Now, I'm sorry guys, I'm noticing I'm not getting Dota TV. I'm not sure if I can... Okay, it's just a toggle issue. Sometimes on my microphone, actually, you have to reset the entire system for it, but apparently it just bugged out and unchecked that box. So, all set once again, Dota TV viewers, I do apologize. But let's get back on track here. So we've got Zeus picking up the bounty rune and just being involved in the map in general. He's going to be able to move towards level 6 at a decent clip, but we do see this double pull coming through, so he's going to be denied most of this experience as the Hellbear Smasher just cleans it up pretty easy. But a nice pull coming through, stacking up here for the Earthshaker. He's not going to manage this one. He's just going to be choke point jungling, actually. Pretty interesting maneuver. Just going in and saying, okay, well, I can clean these up pretty easily. And they didn't do that much damage. 9 damage for the Shard Golems, 31 for the Mud Golems. So he just goes ahead and jungles for himself a little bit with those tangos. And that works out pretty well for him. Again, all he needs to do is just look for opportunities where he can find something like that. Push out of the Storm in mid. And when he gets Fissures like that, then they just get free kills thanks to the triple raise. So generally speaking, I just think that it's a pretty good laning configuration where HEK is set up for pretty much success, and there's really not much room for smoke and roaming to come through. Like, yes, you have a Boots first Rubik, yes, you bought smoke at a seat, but honestly, the percentage chance of you bringing down the Shadow Fiend is less than 50%, and therefore your objectives are better suited elsewhere. Like, they have the tools they need to gank, but assuming the Earthshaker disrupt it, there's very little point in it, to be honest. So Cold Snap, Hansu, he's in a good position to kind of turn things around. Alrighty, so just talking about these lanes a little bit here. I was trying to do some research as far as who are the Chinese character players, and I've got information on who is playing for this team as far as the rosters go, but a lot of these profiles are private or just all the hodgepodge of different Chinese character Steam profiles. So unfortunately, I can't get information directly as far as exactly who these guys are, but obviously we've got HGK on the Shadow Fiend, Cold Snap or Hansu on the Earthshaker, and 5400 on the Visage. Those are the three that, of course, I do know. And so far, they're doing pretty good. But the lanes aren't going to mean everything. I think there's going to be a significant point where CDEC are looking to control the tempo of the game via team fights. And I think that might come out a little bit sooner than that of Newbie.M. So if you look at experience per minute, 235 on the Clockwork. We're also only seeing 65 on the Zeus. While Clockwork is nearly level 4, Zeus is barely into level 2 thanks to a bounty rune pickup. Like, honestly, it's just the supports from CDEC controlling the top lane better, and I feel like that's going to eventually mean that they're able to make their move much sooner. I mean, just bottom line is they're going to have Clockwork ulti far before the Zeus ulti, and they're going to be able to make plays happen with that. All of the ultis on CDEC are something that brings something to the table in terms of team fight, something that makes them more powerful when they go in an aggressive stance and look for the engagement. So it's none of them are like farming ultis. Storm wants to jump, he wants to kill. Clockwork wants to jump and kill. We do see Aggressive, he's in a position where he can just put out a lot of AoE damage. And he's going for an interesting skill build here, at least by comparison. But to most people that don't know the professional scene very well, they'll look and say, oh yeah, 3-1-1, that's a pretty standard skill build for anybody. But most gyrocopters these days have been going for either a max homing missile build or a completely ignoring homing missile build, where they go for 4-0-4 and maybe even never touch the skill. So it really varies player to player, but in this case he's getting a little bit of everything. He gets the 3 attacks from the flat cannon, he gets the rocket barrage in close proximity, and he still gets that homing missile fall through for a little bit of potential stun. Mango's still doing work on the Zeus, though. He's going to go for his Soul Ring here. He's got plenty of HP regen to work with. So looking at early last hits here, 35 and 16 for the Shadow Fiend. 29 Necromastery racked up for him. 34 and 19 coming after the Gyrocopter up in the top lane. And 34 and 13 on the Phantom Lancer in the safe. So Cogs are going to come out here. XZ trying to guard a rune pickup, but that's not going to happen. In fact, he's going to get caught up by the Spirit Lance and the Fissure. Body blocks coming in. The Soul Assumption does good damage, and the last right click will bring him down. Phantom Lancer picking up a nice kill, and Hansu grabbing the Invis rune with Clarity still active. So looking for a block out on the mid. No Dire, Observer, or Sentry. Oh, they did have an Observer down on the bottom rune, so they do know that he picked it up. But they're just going to play it safe in their own jungle and actually rotate the Zeus in, which I really like. Shadow Fiend, he's going to go ahead and farm up his camps anyways. Like, this stack is just juicy for him once he hits level 7, which he will attempt to do from the Shard Golems. So essentially now they get the opportunity to give Zeus his levels, because as I was saying, he was barely like 60 experience per minute, so anything they can give him is going to be pretty nice. HGK is still here because, again, he needs level 7, and this last creep will get it to him.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
And we're going to see a bit of a rotation here. Now that the lane is pushing out a little bit, Diabolic Edict comes out on the tower, they pop the glyph to counteract it, and they rotate to 2 counter-pushing supports. So, in this situation, the Zeus and the Earthshaker are both really good at holding under tower. They're really good at holding high ground, they're really good at holding under tower, and they might be catching Garter off guard. Essentially, if you get into this position here, further into the nook, you get a Fissure across, Garter think there's creeps when there's not, and that could have been actually a really good opportunity, but Hansu just kind of lying in wait in the shadows, not actually looking for that opportunity. Because it definitely was presented to itself. That Fissure is just perfect for that spot, but he resets. This is in an even better position, much more likely to get that catch out, and we'll see if he gets another opportunity next time Garter goes for the Edict. In the meantime, though, it looks like he just wants to go for a pullback. He sees the Zeus's comeback. He shifts his mindset away from pushing and back to pulling. That's just a push and pull in this lane, and it's all about whether or not Zeus is present. If Zeus is rotated, then it's like, okay, great, push his tower, make him wish he was in top lane. And if he isn't present, or sorry, yeah, and if Zeus is present on the top lane, then you want to pull back the wave, make sure that he doesn't get any experience at all, and kind of go back to your status quo. So looking at overall levels, I think is much more important than last hits right now, because, I mean, you expect the lanes to go kind of back and forth. You see that Cheeky as well as HGK are going to be doing fine on last hits. SF is doing particularly well thanks to the stacks that he was able to farm up here. But when we look, and all the other cores are doing fine, 50 plus. But when it comes down to, in my mind, is how underfarmed is this Zeus? The fact that he's only level 4.5, Rubik is about to hit level 6. Like, that's a big difference in my mind. Same thing with the Earthshaker. He sacrificed a lot of experience, too, in the early game. Actually, we're going to see a clash here. The Fissure call down coming out, but it's already brought down the Visage. Now we're looking for one more. Doppelganger away. Man, he's taking so much damage already. And that homing missile will just barely keep track of him. But, yeah, small skirmish there, jumping in. Just, Shiki, essentially, when he has that mana pool available, can make the jump, set things up for the gyrocopter, and yeah, he's going to be going for that Drum of Endurance. So, good pickup early on with the Visage, who is such a squishy hero naturally. Like, Gravekeeper's Cloak, people like to pretend that it makes him tanky. Really, it's just to offset the fact that he's already lacking so much. We will see one Enchanted Mango chewed through, and that's going to give Zeus the mana he needs to pull back the wave, but still, the tower will fall, with the Gyrocopter getting the last hit.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
So Shadow Rays isn't really the best deal for Rubik here. He definitely wants something more along the lines of the Fissure, the Soul Assumption, some familiar Spirit Lance, and maybe, if possible, could go for any ultimate, really. Item progression, we're seeing Soul Ring on Shiki, probably going into a Bloodstone long term. Double Ring of Aquila on Newbie.M, so the SF as well as the Phantom Lancer have a lot of good stats to work with, some good push potential when they time it well.
There he goes.
And because I haven't really taken a look at it, I'm gonna go ahead. Oh wait, no, we got an Invis-Rune. Oh, Sentry is gonna give Zeus the intel he needs. How will they respond to this though? The Edict already coming out. They connect with the Split Earth. Whether or not he knows about it doesn't seem to matter. The Lightning Storm's still doing a good amount of damage, and there's the call down too. But Zeus will run out of it. The Visage will pursue an aggressive. He's stuck between a rock and a hard place. Cannot actually get out of this one. The movement speed's all that's going to speed him away, and yeah, he's not able to pursue the Zeus as he wanted to. So at the very least, they force him back. But again, that was an Invis-Rune that they did see coming in. So the fact they had to rotate all that leaves Phantom Lancer vulnerable. Doppelganger is all he's got going for him. He will be able to use it, but they'll lift shortly after. Just burst. Oh no, they lift the greater fake clone, but in the end they find the real one, and now he's going to be going down. Spirit Lance stolen, pretty awesome. That's maxed out, only 140 mana for Rubik, and he's got a 780 mana pool. So that's really good for him. He's going to spam this out for the next couple of minutes, and it's going to be just a really good asset for him. Still, he's walking into trouble here. Not so sure about this. Drops down the ward. Oh, that was a close call. That was a very close call. XZ looking for the hook shot. Not going to find it just yet. Dyer do see the Earthshaker, but diving is a different question entirely. So while we have a quick moment, I was going to actually check out this ward here. Everybody that bought the compendium gets this nice little observer ward here. The Watcher below. A lot of people think it's in reference to Pit Lord, but no matter the case, it's pretty nifty. So support esports, get that $10 compendium going. We'll see some more international action. Anyways, right now we've got XZ going in, closing in onto the Zeus. Should be a pretty easy hook shot. It's point blank here. He doesn't even need it with the cogs in, and they bring him down pretty quickly.
I'm your god too.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And here's where things get interesting. The Shadow Fiend just picked up a Shadow Blade. He's got 36 souls. He's got Lothar's already online. And he's going to be going in for a Requiem right on top of somebody. There is no detection whatsoever from the Dower side. Why would there be? And he just straight up right-clicked a Shadow Blade. So he's going to be going in here, dropping it right on Aggressive. Look at the damage. Combining it with Thunder God's Wrath as well as the Fisher. Beautifully done. And XZ caught inside the cogs. Now has to break down two of them, but he'll take the Grave Chill. Hug shot away. Will it be enough? He'll save himself, but Garter will be falling. Oh boy. He does get the TP away. Meanwhile, bottom lane, actually prior to that, the death of the Rubik, thanks to the Phantom Lancer and the Visage Birds. Mid lane, Cheeky gonna take some hits here. HEK getting a good flank off again with that Shadow Blade. And wouldn't be surprised if we see some Panic Dust being purchased pretty quickly here. We've got Sentry Wards now on Q on the Rubik. Need some dust as well. Just a couple of different ways to lock down this Shadow Fiend. I think even the Clockwork could carry some dust and benefit from it quite a bit. And there you go. XZ is going to get that. We're going to see, no, the Phantom Lancer will be able to kill the Rubik again, but now he's in a really rough spot. 2 seconds is too long for the Doppelganger to come through. And though it looks like they'll kill off one of these familiars, one more hit coming in will kill it off. No gold for them, but still taking one off the table. Resummon in, oh, now, this is the very second.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And now we're going to see a hookshot whiff, but I think that's actually a good thing. Connecting on that, it's a little bit difficult to find that position. They're still going to make the jump with the Storm Spear, but look at this Fisher locking them out. Echo Slam and Thunder God's Wrath pulling them back, and they're all going to take massive damage. Clockwork will go down, punished for his hubris, and now we see who else will be taken down. Yeah, if the Clockwork jumps in, at least you have two people on the side of that Fisher, but it's still not the ideal position up against the Shadow Fiend right there. Like, I guess if the Leshrac had been able to fall through with a Split Earth, I would feel differently, but the cast animation for Split Earth and Lightning Storm is so long, and the Fisher would have stopped that, definitely, so I'm pretty sure it was the wrong engagement no matter how they approached it, unfortunately. Now down bottom, we're going to see the jump, the kill of the Phantom Lancer once again. He doppled a while ago, but doesn't have it the second time, and Gyrocopter gets a very nice kill. We're going to see Shiki going down pretty quickly here. Nice double raise. Picking up the Storm while he still has mana. Now the Gyrocopter trying to bring down Cold Snap, but he will get caught by the Aftershocks. One more right click and raise, but he can't get it. Now he's locked out. He's caught in the cogs. He's going to go for the Requiem, but that's not going to happen. His souls will release, and he will fall. Now we're going to see the flank. Anybody in retreat, they want to catch him out here through this avenue of attack. And it should be pretty good timing, but unfortunately nobody's retreating. Everybody's kind of just chilling out. Now Gyrocopter goes for the TP away, and he's home free. So, nice attempt from 5400. I admire that effort, but it's not going to find anything they're looking for. They could still go for the Thunder God's Wrath play, but Invis on the Clockwork, not much you're going to find here. But they're still going to go for it. Inside the cogs, we're going to see 5400 caught out. Invis pop, but the Lightning Bolt counters it. And actually, I thought that would be played very differently by the Clockwork. But Shiki still cleans it up, makes it a 1-for-1. Takes half his mana and health away, but he will be able to make the kill happen. So yeah, I thought he'd just go for a bit of a cheeky cog knockback and then pop the Invis and there's nothing they can do about it. But he kind of goes in, takes too much damage, and the Lightning Bolt is enough to finish him off. So, a little bit awkward on his part, but We'll see this kill score even up a little bit here, 8 to 10. And we'll look at Newbie.M's next move, because right now, CDEC's game plan is pretty clear. They're going to be the ones to start pushing towers. They're the ones trying to find pickoffs and openings. They can isolate targets well with hookshot and ball lightning. They can go in for heavy push with the Leshrac. But the bottom line is they've only got so much going for them right now. They're buying a BKB up on the gyrocopter. They're going to be able to push pretty well, but they don't really have alternative choices. Like, they don't have stacks on their ancients. They don't have other ways of finding farm here. I feel like Newbie.M actually have a pretty good grasp on this game. Despite some of the better counter picks coming in from CDEC, I feel like Newbie.M are in a commanding position right now. They've got the Shadow Blade up for the Shadow Feed, and he could just find so many more openings onto certain kill targets. They're going to smoke up, and then they're going to lead with the Shadow Blade into the jungle, because that's when smoke pops, and you're like, oh, well, is there somebody watching me? Well, not if I have the Shadow Blade up. So they double it up. The Rocket Flare does not see anything, and they should be able to pick up Clockwork here. He does have a hookshot line into the mid lane, but he really just doesn't have the levels in that shot. So they're just going to stun him out, nuke him down, and no chance in hell. So we're going to see if they try to follow that up with a push. It looks like top lane is where we're going to see action. Zeus getting jumped on by his enemy, the Lightning God, Raijin, going in and trying to steal his thunder a little bit here, and we'll see the Visage Familiars try to weigh in on the action. Shadow Fiend, of course, has the right click here, double raise as well, but needs the lance to get that damage, and there we go. Good combo. No ball lightning to be had. And now they defend mid. Get the deny on that tower, maybe get a kill on the gyrocopter as well. So we're going to see Q go down very quickly here. Spirit Lance connecting, and that's going to be his death. And Shadow Fiend does get the deny. So very nice rotations here. Newbie.M, they wanted to do something with that smoke with those Shadow Blades, and they really just made some huge plays happen here. You're going to see a very significant gold advantage swing their way, and also denying a lot of gold. The fact that CDEC won't be able to, in the future, pick up that tier 1 tower makes a huge difference. And yeah, for those wondering about my voice, I do have a few allergies this morning, but hopefully I get over them within the hour. I took some medicine for it, so. For some people, springtime is wondrous. It's flowers and colors and nice shiny things. I prefer winter. Take the insects away, take the sniffles away. I'm all for that, but probably not best to live in a rural environment with heavy allergies. That's just a bad combination in the first place. So we're going to see the Blade Mail pick up for the Clockwork. Going to try to kind of just jump in there, counteract the Requiem mostly. Echo Slam and Requiem, Thunder God's Wrath, those are all good spells to reflect with Blade Mail, so just time it well, know when they're going to be looking to use those abilities, and kind of de-incentivize them with those usages. We're going to see Leshrac actually just go straight up for a soul booster, so it's a kind of surprising pickup on a support Leshrac, but especially when you only have 4,300 net worth, but he'll just make his way there gradually, and in the meantime it tanks him up, so he can actually start using his ultimate. Which, by the way, is awesome at level 6. Still probably should pick it up, even though I understand the higher points in Lightning Storm. I could say 1 point in Edict, maybe. I don't know. It's a hard call, but I really like Pulse Nova. I think level 1 is just so imba that you can't help but pick it up. But we're going to see a back off here. They're going to break the smoke, and the Observer War is going to scout it out, but they're going to drum forward, trying to pursue. Doppelganger as well. Thunder God's Wrath scouts it, and they will catch out the Rubik. So one good pickoff, but they want one more. We'll see the Familiars closing in and blocking the hook shot. Oh, man. Bird block coming out from 5,400. Very nicely done. That's like desperation right there, trying to hook shot just anything to the north, an ally, creep wave, anything, just get out of there. But despite the bail out of time, T falls, and it's a 15-9 kill score in favor of Newbie.M. So now the Phantom Lancer is going to pick up his Diffuser Blade. They're going to go for Roshan. This is really just a ton of momentum going the way of Newbie.M. And although the laning stage, I would say, was won by CDEC in my mind, I would have to say that Newbie.M have brought it back really nicely ever since the Shadow Blade came out, to be honest. That's when they really have found a lot of opportunities to act and move and maneuver and find those kills. So they've killed off Storm Spirit like 3 times now, and just in general, they've been doing a really good job across the map. And I was talking about a lot about levels and experience before, so let's just go ahead and pull that chart up. Be it 8, 9, and 10 at the bottom of the chart here for CDEC. It's just that the kill disadvantage, Rubik and Clockwork have died so many times, they don't actually have time to build up their levels. Like their kill death count is 5 apiece, so it's no surprise at all they're not even close to level 11. And that's just unfortunate because we're 22 minutes into the game. But Garter going to be in a bad spot here, not exactly sure what he was going for, but he's going for death as the Thunder God's Wrath nabs that kill, gets Zeus some more experience.
God's wrath.
And there's the Diffusal Blade, which is a huge pickup for the Phantom Lancer. He's ready to rumble now. The Leshrac, the Storm Spirit, they're just going to be taking that much more damage. If they don't have BKBs, they're going to be taking a ton of feedback. Every single right click against them will be burning mana, will be applying damage, and that's really good against the Storm in particular. Like, if the Leshrac was using Pulse Nova a lot, I'd say it's really good against him too. But we haven't really seen that. So just looking at Shiki, the fact is, if he's run dry on mana, he can't zip away. You take away his escape mechanism by burning through his mana, and if you get some good illusion spawns, you can take care of his mana pool within like 3 or 4 seconds. So you just need a couple of good stuns, or him to underestimate you and lose out big. But we're going to see him pop the Invis Rune. Again, he could be walking under a Sentry Ward, and they do have an Observer Ward combo, but he's not taking that route. So that's just going to leave them all to move up to the mid lane. Visage is working towards a mechanism here. Not your standard Medallion into Aghanims into Solar Crest, but still a pretty solid build for those that want to push Emphasis, and obviously with Shadow Fiend going for the Shadow Blade. That's the big difference here, is like Shadow Fiend going for Mechanism, you know what to expect from him. He's just going to 5-man push towers, he just applies good health in an AoE to his teammates, and that kind of thing. But with the surprise attack of the Shadow Blade, it's throwing CDEC off their game completely. It's a great pickup. It just forces the Visage to play a little bit less progressive. He doesn't get to be greedy at all. We're going to see some good damage on Shiki. I don't know if he dies. Oh, with the Echo Slam he does. Oh, they force... Zeus force-staffs the Earthshaker in for an Echo Slam that makes a kill happen where it otherwise wouldn't have. They take a tier 2 top, they kill off the Storm in mid, they waste Bloodstone charges, all on that force staff coming in from the Zeus. Just beautiful play from him. And we're going to see BKB TP coming out from Aggressive, no Stone Form to lock him out. And the tower will be finished off, despite the fortification. But yeah, I mean, that Storm kill could not have happened without an Echo Slam. I was just looking at the stuns, they were all wearing off, he was about to ball lightning away, they didn't have the damage. But suddenly Echo Slam, changing that entirely. Great combination between the Zeus and the Shaker. So, 3,500 net worth, we're going to be looking at nearly 5k experience. And that's going to be working out pretty well in favor of Newbie.M. And now it's kind of be this, not necessarily last stand, but they want to kind of draw the line to this tier 2 tower. They have a pretty good position to contest in a direct sense. I mean, you've got the AoE aspects of Aggressive. He's got a pretty good call down circle in this kind of area. I mean, that's more ovular, of course, but still. And they've got a good window where they can just kind of go in and anybody in this general region can be caught in the call down. That's really good. Shiki can always chase, can always just get involved in the fight sooner. And of course Garter wants to test out this Pulse Nova a little bit. Just got to level 2. He is going for a very old, kind of a mix of a new skill build with an old one. Essentially, he's maxing the Lightning Storm, which is kind of the new one now that that skill has been buffed so many times. But if you look at it, the Pulse Nova actually, it's scaling. It's only a 30% increase in DPS for a doubling of the mana per second. So it isn't like usually you hold on to your ultimate if it's okay. Actually, gonna see Thunder God's Wrath coming out. That is a double damage Shadow Fiend coming in. He has the Aegis though, so only stealing Shadow Rays, and now Clockwork getting caught out. Familiars don't give a damn about your blade mail, and now they're just gonna raise you down with the last hit. Oh no, it's gonna be a pullback from the Storm. Electric Vortex. Aggressive now with the BKB, trying to turn it around, trying to do damage with a flat cannon, but he can't get a target. Garter and Kior on the run. Aggressive all by himself. Can't even kill the damn Visage. And now they're all scattered. They've killed off 2, but they're going to lose the rest of the fight as they just can't do anything else. Why'd they go back in? Why'd they go back in? They want to kill HGK, and they almost will. They will at the last moment, but still they've lost the Storm. They've lost the clock. They've lost everything. Hashtag not worth it. Oh no. I mean, they could have just walked away with the 2 supports trading for 1. That might have been acceptable, but especially with the Aegis taken out, but just losing their entire team to break the Aegis and to take down the Zeus and the Earthshaker. Well, I mean, they're good. They're definitely good heroes to bring down when trying to prevent Blink Daggers and such from coming out, but the PL triumphs in the end. He's the one that profits so much. Suddenly he has a Reaver. Like, how do you deal with this Phantom Lancer once he's got a Heart or a Satanic? Like, it just doesn't happen. But we're going to see Storm clear out the illusions at the very least, balling across the map. And Visage's Familiars. Familiars? 1 kill, 2 both killed. That's 200 damage, or 200 gold in Aggressive's pocket, so very, very late resummon coming in for 5400. Oh, he didn't even have a resummon. He's just literally sending them all the way across the map against a gyrocopter and not managing their stone form. I'm not exactly too sure what that was about. 5400. I've been impressed with your Visage so far this game, but please. Anyways, he's gonna have arcane boots in just 600 gold, and that's gonna put him into the Guardian's Greaves. Actually, he's already got the recipe. The expensive part of Guardian's Greaves is actually the recipe now. So picking that up and the mechanism, all he needs is just 600 gold, and he'll have a really good item, which means that it won't deplete his mana pool. In fact, it'll enhance it. And of course, you get the awesome aspect of when you're low HP, you get a ton of armor. And that's pretty important for Visage because he has such low base armor. Like, you look at his armor, you're like, oh yeah, he's got tons of armor. He's got 30 right now. Well, yeah, that's mostly because of Gravekeeper's Cloak. You have plus 16 just from that alone. It's the medallion and the mechanism that gives it otherwise, and oftentimes you have the medallion on the offensive, so you don't get those buffs. So these numbers are very, very deceiving as far as how physically tanky the Visage is. But yet in Guardian's Greaves, and maybe he can actually survive through the last right clicks of an engagement pretty effectively. I'm not going to say it's going to like guaranteed save him from situations he otherwise would have died, because there's still a lot of magic damage coming out from CDEC. There's a lot of burst damage coming out from them too. But all the same, it's a really good pickup, allows them to push more aggressively. And they are going to find it at a pretty good time here. Glimmer Cape up on the Zeus, trying to manipulate invisibility a little bit more. They've already got the Shadow Blade, so just add in the Glimmer Cape here. Force a ton of detection into CDEC's hands. And of course, you get that magic resistance, which you could put out against anybody that's caught inside, like Pulse Nova and Call Down and Storm Spells, that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, right now CDEC have taken out a couple of tier 2 towers, or just the one, but it doesn't really feel like they're in a commanding position in this game. Like, they've got Observer Ward advantage, they've got the towers evened out, but I feel like Newbie.M are just in such a better position because of how big this Phantom Lancer has gotten over the past several minutes, and how much he's going to be able to do with that farm. Having that golden experience advantage, having their bread and butter of the Blink Dagger and the Earthshaker, Greaves Medallion on the Visage, and then of course the Force Staff on the Zeus. That's all you really need, and then you just move forward with your cores. Your cores, which do amazing right-click damage at this point, because you've got Shadow Blade, BKB, Scotty. You've got your Diffusal, Drums, and Nearly Heart. Like, this is just a great spot to be in when you are the Radiant. Newbie.M looking pretty good, feeling pretty good, and continuously scouting out Roshan with the Rocket Flare. And scouting Thunder God's Wrath, just to make sure that they're not up to any shenanigans here. No smoke gank, setting up the Roshan. And instead, they've just been farming for the most part. If you look at last hits real quick, 221 on Aggressive, 229 on HGK. Just moving forward to the next level of farm. 622 is the KDA of the Gyrocopter. So he's gotten his BKB, he's gotten his MKB, which is not only good in Gyrocopter, but good in the sense that he expects a Solar Crest to come out from Visage and doesn't want to have to deal with 30% mischance. So kind of counteracts that talisman effect. And now we're going to see some damage coming out here. There's going to be the Sentry Ward coming, and they are going to force Shadow Fiend out of his Invis. But he'll pop his BKB, he'll fall back, and they'll be happy with that one. And for those wondering, I will be having a co-cast come in. So not only will I not be suppressed by allergies, not only will I be clearer voice and a little more caffeine in me, but I'll have somebody else to talk to too. So for those that enjoyed the co-commentary from PimpmuckL very recently, he's going to be joining me once again, and it should be pretty fun. So 2 Bloodstones on CDEC. Leshrac finishes his. It takes a little while, but to support Leshrac finding a Bloodstone is still a really nice thing in my mind. Just that attribute alone is really good, because both these heroes are heroes that you want to focus down pretty quickly in the fights. So one of them is going to be providing a very powerful AoE heal to the other one. And that's going to make it so that, in general, CDEC have much more health to work with against the lineup of Newbie.M, and of course they're going to be respawning faster. But I don't know if that puts him in a position to win fights. That's kind of not Leshrac's thing. Leshrac hitting good stuns, getting good damage out. It's not him to win the fights. It's Gyrocopter to make a huge set of flat cannon, call down, etc., etc. And we're going to look for it here as they go in. Shiki cannot get the Aegis taken away. In fact, it's picked up by the Shadow Fiend as the Fisher locks him down. Now the Visage will fall. Zeus on the back line getting nothing. But they're not able to do enough with the Gyrocopter. He mans up too hard, goes right into the pit, and gets shut down completely to the right clicks of Newbie.M. Just absolutely destroyed by the Phantom Lancer illusions, by the Shadow Fiend right clicks. The presence of the Dark Lord ensues, and the Scottish slow also frustrates him quite a bit. End of the day, Gyrocopter just manning up too hard. He couldn't keep his distance. Couldn't find. There were like a couple targets on the outside. You hit the Zeus here, and you're going to be flacking anybody that you have vision of inside the pit. So I don't know. I just kind of feel like the Gyrocopter went very aggressive there. Didn't have enough support coverage, and a lot of people go down quick. So that's very unfortunate, actually.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Dominator coming out for the Shadow Fiend here. Going to be looking just to go for that Scotty Satanic, the Ultra Tank build, and survive through everything pretty much. He's got the 7-second BKB still online, so looking pretty good to take this tier 3. And yeah, they're just going to push in. I mean, with the Gyrocopter down, they can at least put a lot of damage to tier 3, force the glyph, and fall back. And that's exactly what they do. Saying after this would be a little bit too risky in my mind, but they're going to get pulled back in. They might not have a choice to leave. Aggressive is back up. The Fisher will come through. Phantom Lancer going to be going down pretty quickly, and they're going to try to flak him down, but he'll get that second Doppelganger off and fight against Shiki. In the end, he will fall. The heart is not enough to keep him up, but HEK going in under the Sentry Ward, getting good right clicks. Aggressive. Oh, the Bloodstone heal. Leshrac falling, heals everybody up, and now HEK can't fight. He has an Aegis, but he really just can't take this engagement. Nice Soul Assumption, bring Aggressive low, but they kill off the Familiar, and they fall on back. HEK, they need to kill that. Oh my goodness, they will keep the Aegis intact, but overall, a great defense from CDEC. The Bloodstone heal from Leshrac was just so monumental. That was such an insane burst of health coming in as he falls first, and yeah, I mean, it is 500 plus 30 per charge. I think he had 6, so that was a 740 HP heal. Maybe did the math terribly there. Definitely did the math terribly there. That is a 680 HP heal. Still a very good heal. And, yeah. That's, I mean, they kill the Phantom Lancer off. He sticks around just a little bit too long, and Rubik connects with that critical lift. I think he might have even lifted out of the Glimmer Cave. So, really a great play from Q. Catching up the Phantom Lancer. That's the kind of play they need to just pull forward in this game, is to find a point in time where Newbie.M make a small mistake and just punish it heavily. And now they've made 2 mistakes. They let the Requiem get stolen as well. So if Q is able to Glimmer Cape in and channel this Requiem, oh my gosh, it's just going to be disastrous for Newbie. They're going to get torn apart so quickly. I mean, the Visage, pretty much one-shottable. The Gravekeeper's Cloak doesn't really work in the sense that the Soul Assumption does, the Requiem of Souls, each soul does an instance of damage. So it would take the Gravekeeper's Cloak off immediately, and then you take full damage from the rest of it. So this could be dangerous. If they don't push in with like a Sentry Ward underneath their feet, they might not realize that there's some real potential for Rubik to just walk in their midst. But they will take down the tier 3 tower. Try to control this position, try to make use of the Aegis the Immortal, which will be lasting for another minute and 10 seconds.
Radiant's top top tower has fallen.
HEK gonna get pulled in here. Good damage coming out. XZ distracting on the back line, forced out of the cogs by the Zeus. Now they'll try to bring down Clockwork. Despite the Blade Mail, they will bring him down. But the Aegis forced out on the Shadow Feed, trying to time the Split Earth, will not connect. And they will look for this melee Rax. So Q still has the Requiem, looking for an opportunity, building it up, glimmering in. But are they gonna back off? Are they gonna go forward? No, Q will bide his time, 10 seconds on cooldown, wait for round 2, wait for another opportunity with this Glimmer Cape. There is no detection but the Zeus. The Lightning Bolts is the detection, and Q just goes for our backline Requiem, doing some decent damage, but it's a glimmering Shadow Fiend. He just eats the damage and turns it right back against his opponents. Aggressive on the run, gets caught by the Fisher. They'll bring him down with the Echo Slam. The Fisher from Rubik won't do enough here. Split Earth, though, from Garter, doing some good magic damage. If only they were 1,000 HP less, but they are far too tanky for him to do much. He's going to try to buy back into this, exhausting all of his Bloodstone charges, just trying to get back in, trying to repel them and at least save the range barracks. But Newbie.M, they're happy to walk away with that. XZ might get familiars, but that's about it. Hookshot won't even connect on the Phantom Lancer. The Doppel dodge away, and that is going to be Newbie.M taking a really big win in this middle lane. But it's not down and out yet, CDEC. They still want to look to hold, despite being down to 7 Bloodstone charges on the Sword Spirit, 4 Bloodstone and 400 gold on the Leshrac, as he did buy back. And overall, just going up against a very farmed Phantom Lancer and Shadow Fiend. We're going to see the Satanic come out on the Shadow Fiend now. We're going to see the Manta come up on the Phantom Lancer, and that's really all it takes. It's just, now that they have a good, respectable amount of damage to put out, all they have to do is tank up against CDEC's suspected damage output. With Flak Cannon only putting out a certain amount of AoE hits, 6 attacks, the Call Down putting out a finite amount of damage, the amount of damage you can expect from a Leshrac in a fight, and the Storm Spirit as well, it's all very predictable. It's very, okay, well, your spells do this much damage, I have to be able to soak up this much. And the bottom line is, unless you get a surprise attack like that Requiem to kind of tip the scales, HEK and the Phantom Lancer are going to be able to survive through all of it. Now they've got the Heart and the Satanic. They know exactly how much damage to expect. They have over 3,000 HP each, or at least 2,700. And with HEK, he's got the lifesteal, so he's going to be able to build himself up even further and pretty much have his second health bar if he gets some good damage in. It doesn't get disabled during the Satanic. So I really feel like CDEC's backed against the wall. They have to just pull out all the stops in the next fight. Every source of unpredictable damage they have to bring forward. Rubik especially has to just do some amazing work here. I mean, he can Fisher for now for some counter push, but he needs to do a lot more than just 1 or 2 spells. He needs to do everything he can. We'll see the Storm jump in. Going on HEK, he won't get the BKB out, but look how tanky he is. They do nothing to him. He just gets mech'd up, pops the BKB, looks for the Satanic lifesteal, and heals up to 75% HP. Aggressive is down for the count. They tried hard. They focused everything on him, but the 2 cores are still at half HP. They will bring down the Shadow Fiend, but it sets up Hansu for a tremendous Echo Slam. And now the Phantom Lancer disengages, wait for Heart to regen, while the 3 in the back line try to hold this position. But in the end, CDEC, they put a lot of damage in, and they end up bringing them down. Very impressive that they're able to just do that much. The max out Pulse Nova just doing enough damage in that fight for them to push them back. That was actually just exactly what they needed, was the Leshrac to survive the entire time, keep that ultimate damage flowing, and Newbie.M, they just couldn't survive. The Phantom Lancer survived with about 20% HP, walks back, but the new Heart does take a little bit longer to start the recharge going. It recharges faster, but it's on cooldown for 7 seconds. So oh no, that's 5 seconds for melee heroes. It says 7 for some reason, but it should be 5 seconds. So with that in mind, he's out of the fight for at least 10 or 15 seconds based on that new Heart. It's really an out-of-combat regen factor more than anything else. Temperature Sight now on the Rubik. They held a really good fight down on bottom. They got some powerful damage into their opponents, and I mean, one bad aspect of this Shadow Fiend is his Satanic didn't heal him to all the way full HP. I mean, he doesn't really have the damage for that. Needs to go for maybe a Daedalus, maybe could go for the Silver Edge, which adds another level of tankiness as well as some extra damage. I'm not too sure. It's really, at this point, they have put in a lot. I think Butterfly would be really good this game. But, of course, you're up against the MKB of the Gyrocopter, so you're really only dodging the Storm Spirit's auto attacks. So, maybe just more of the same. Go for the crit.
Stupendous.
Go for building up the Shadow Fiend to be as powerful as he can be. Checking out other items. Oh, Aghanim Scepter up on the Clockwork, so fast hook shots coming out. Manta style finish for the Phantom Lancer. Definitely needed that for that last fight. We're going to see just hook onto creeps. Not a big deal. And I think that's pretty much it. Like, a couple heroes are working towards Aghanim Scepter, but I'm not seeing anything very new. Earthshaker has a 4 staff for what that's worth. And that's about it. Storm Spirit has a BKB. It's at 10 seconds. Shiki looking to use that in the next fight. Allows him to man up a lot more against heroes like Shadow Fiend, so that's pretty cool. But really, the big thing he's lacking is mana. If you look at his regen, it's only 17.7. Zipping around the map is not really as much of an option for him, and in and out of fights, no sir. But the BKB is really good against both the Shadow Fiend's Requiem when he's in close proximity, the lockdown from the Earthshaker, and most importantly, I would say, the Diffusal Blade of the Phantom Lancer. When all those illusions start right-clicking against you, you really just can't do anything but stay inside the Ball Lightning, because otherwise you're going to lose out that much mana. But with the BKB, you negate that feedback, so I think it'll be a good position for him. Still, Garter will face those issues. He's got the Ghost Scepter, but the Purge has been used minimally, and I'm sure that Phantom Lancer will take an opportunity to purge that Ghost Scepter as needed. Oh, birds again. Familiar's going to get caught out here. One Stone Form comes through. Another one in the pit, but I think they can all just focus these birds down. They know the timing pretty well, and they've got this high ground vision advantage, so they're going to throw some right clicks in for sure. Still, they're trying to mostly focus on warding off Newbie.M for making their approach in. As far as long-range initiation, it's usually just a Blink Fissure, but you could think of a Blink Force Echo Slam now if they're all clumped up. Let's just look at the graphs overall. Looking at about 13,000 in terms of gold, 8,000 in terms of experience, some pretty good momentum for Newbie.M. Again, still on the back of that Fallen melee racks from earlier. But they really haven't gained that much more since then. They really don't want to give the Roshan easily to the Storm Spirit. Don't want to give him the Aegis, but it's not the easiest fight for them to take without any vision whatsoever. There's been good map control from Q ever since he picked up this Geometry site. And yeah, they look for the next fight. Then we'll look for the next big play. Still a bit of a stalemate here across the map. Both sides want to move pretty much as 5. Nobody wants to be isolated and picked off, so the end result is that they're all kind of moving together but unable to take objectives without risking the possibility of a team wipe against them. So just both sides scouting Roshan, one with familiars, one with illusions, and now with a range creep stolen by the Helm of the Dominator, I guess. Yeah, Aggressives. Poor little range creep, but now we see them going right into the pit, and with this heart, I mean, this Phantom Lancer tanks up really strong. He's going to be able to just stay right on the front line here, still stay at about 80% HP, but they will scout it out. They will look to engage. Thunder God's Wrath, stopping any blinks, but they go for the hookshot play. It's on to the Ancients. XA hooks the Ancients. Oh no, but the Roche is low. This forces a climax here. Shiki gonna go for the BKB play. HGK taking some damage, but he is gonna be in the Shadow Blade. Popping the BKB, doing some major right click damage onto Aggressive. He's already dead. They kill Aggressive so fast, and they'll kill Garter early this time. Last fight he lived for far too long. This time they don't make the same mistake. They kill off Garter. They kill off XZ now. They force 2 buybacks, and they're still in a commanding position in this fight. They still have Satanic. Heart's going to bring PL back up to full. And Aggressive, where is his damage? Flat Cannon in 5 seconds, but no BKB. Double damage run on HGK. Are you kidding me? On the fly, double damage run at the 46-minute spawn. Getting that rune, HGK is a god. He's going to pop the Satanic and just wail into Aggressive. Boom, boom, boom. Lifesteal damage. Aggressive falling, getting forced out to the high ground. He'll just wail on him. Blade Mail will come out, though, and this will make it really difficult to fight inside the cogs. He goes and man modes it, and he's able to make the kills happen. That locks down the 2 diebacks. Clockwork out of the fight for a long time, and Shiki to fall next. GG is called by CDEC. A great fight. Culmination of everything that these two teams brought to the table, and in the end, Newbie, Miracle, pulled it away. Great damage coming out, great fissures, but what a hell of a DD rune timing. That spawning, like him just picking that up, is absolutely absurd. But there you go. They control that position near the bottom rune, near the Roshan, and they get some extra value out of their position there in the middle of that fight. Oh my, that was fun. That was a very enjoyable final fight there, and we're going to be going into a bit of a rematch here as we're going into the second game of a 2-game series. So the first game goes the way of Newbie Miracle, getting some good points on the board here. They're going to be going into 3 games today. For 1 more against CDEC and the rest against Braveheart, and hopefully you guys will be able to join me for that. I'll have a co-caster and everything, so it should be fun. Thank you for tuning in once again to iLeague China, and we'll see you guys on the next one. BeyondThe7.TV, @BlazeCasting. See you on the next game.